Anxious words. Idiom. She has a rugged carapace and the redundancies of superlatives and the intractability of serendipity, stifled by the latency of others and entombed by the holy ziggurat, with a penchant for disorderly madness broken with a kick from the dipstick. Her name is a dirty rhombus, the number plate of a Nissan Leaf or a pinwheel in the sky, the clement climate of a small constituency bringing the lingo back from bingo and the irony of the ironing and the jugular of the juggler and the seasoning of the spring. Falling in love is a ball ache, because when you find someone to have and to hold, don't trade them for silver, don't trade them for gold, they will always inevitably leave you, leaving no one else in the world who's quite like them. Sometimes the world is so delicious. The world is the word is the world. Memorize this. Motherfucker, please, one day your hands will be stained old and grey, your hair and teeth rotten or vanished altogether, and you will remember this time when you were munching on a lunchbox, and all around the hum of machines mining data, a full extrapolation of all of your possible futures. Every time you miss a beat, a kitten dies in a car crash. Every false intonation is the birth of a nation, is a prophetic fallacy to be stored and saved by the Ministry of Magic. Memorize this, motherfucker. It's more important than your passwords, your bank details, and your NI number combined. It's dangerous to go alone, so take this poem, may it serve you well. Stentorious, sans serif, and spectacular. CGN Society. She sat down heavily, lit the wrong end of her cigarette, and sighed. I'm so fucking wasted right now, she said, and my life is a train wreck, and if my parents could see me, they'd be ashamed. She passed out and I left her lying there in a pool of her own vomit so I could get as drunk as she was. There's no such thing as a gentleman anymore, just men and women stumbling through life in the same way they always have. Welcome to society, our capitalistic, gender-neutral society. We are all equal in our misery. Stanley's nervous breakdown. Two-faced lying, genuinely nice person, treated like shit considered two-faced, piss shite, tweet fight VIP and another two-faced fair weather bullshitting mask has been made in the past 2 hours, thanks asshole. Rely on your own two-face alone, even Twitter face shite and your head of shite still the nighttime, earth shattered constantly on my problems, two-faced states of mind. I never liked my teacher's dying, never told he cared about anyone, genuinely sold on two-faced hosing petrol, and his hands will meet a grinder soon in dinner dates with anaphylactic shock, dinner date in the path of a moving car, dinner date refrigerate and don't come back, 5 cyanides for shite narration, rehypnol two-faced ingredients. If you think this is a pity poem, fuck off painlessly nice alternative piss poor pathetic existence. Stanley, my boy, I think you need to see a doctor. Univocalisms. Had a grab manner, back sad and grand and all apparent, had a ask and ass and canvas lands that span grass and sand, and her sex needs respect, she entered reckless spectres, wrenched wenches senseless, elected renders bent, brewed egress, wet entrenched, welded, west red defected, engendered, tested, resplendent end. Is it Ifrit's limit, his instincts illicit, intrinsic? Ifrit's insipid ills billing, willing infringing mints. Is Ifrit's sinking shilling in mini triffids, pinching, crinkling Britishisms? Go goodly or bold, got polos who told old dogs off, who sold gold on cold folds of thongs. Hop on bottom, smoky foods of cosmos, who go to moon rooms, snowy owls, sorry. Guns, drugs, bulls, ghouls, mulch up, burnt surplus. Pump fulcrums, plum crunch, stun, frumpy drunks, fuck up, uncut, unhurt but stung, fun, sun, dumbstruck. Groupthink. We have practiced thinking, learned to allow the flow of time and inspiration to disrupt New York and San Francisco, to change the world morphing fossil fuels into solar panels prohibited from public discussion half the world away. The most beautiful places in the world are cracked and broken, cast aside by the reckless hands of men who burn forests for profit and grow meat where they once grew wheat. Their truth is just one truth. Our living planet pulsates alive in the knowledge of 7 billion lies, and guess what? She can't do a damn thing about it. All the armies of all the worlds weighed down with machine guns and bazookas. Hollow-eyed men in the backs of Chinooks playing at war like a video game. But game over means game over, not just for you but for your enemies. How much hatred must one man have to turn a wife into a widow and a mother into a broken woman? If this is the way we're supposed to think, I'm glad I'm inspiringly different. There's no room on this earth for the men who long for destruction. If you want to bring ruin upon something, bring ruin upon yourself. I've been there, I've done that, and I'm currently wearing the t-shirt. Ice gems. Buried in the snow, as the hollow sun smiles relentless, absorbed in its own convalescence, showered with turmeric and paprika, strawberry plantations like lines of cress on a supermarket shelf, little soldiers marching off the war while the bombs fizz and bang, a car backfiring in machine gun smoke, and the IDF, IRA, SAS, and the injured men and women and the regime's dying children cuddle stuffed animals, pooled in bloody coagulate. Every great civilization falls eventually, inevitably. Take your head from the guillotine and use it. Strike down the barons of oil, the kings and queens of unsustainable electronic evolution. Recharge your batteries before the bridges break and the ice begins to melt. Supernovae. We are ripe and ready to go while the others are stuck in the changing room, paralysed by the sound of the starting gun. Other men and women are other men and women, and we are special, and we specialise in immortality like Asimovian cyborgs, self-repairing and self-replicating, and able to withstand the harshest of conditions when we're required to. The slow, methodical footsteps cause ripples in the continuum as time marches steadily on towards its final rendezvous with the Eschaton, Armageddon, end of days, and the sad grim mire prophesied by priests and scientists alike, arguing only about the dates. I live every day as if the sun is about to explode. I'm regularly amazed when it doesn't. Donald Trump's huge new erection. Money talks, it swears and bribes and spits, picks meat from between its teeth and sweats beside you at the bus stop, votes for British nationalists, buys albums by the wanted, stalks TV stars on Twitter, wears replica clothing without irony. Money is rude to all weevils. It burns holes in pockets, causing ruptures for sport when we are all the same, whether born with silver spoons or generations of debt, impoverished on the streets of Sao Paulo. Money is the mean little shit who burned the wings off butterflies, age 11, holding mirrors up towards the sun, who called his father a bastard for simply standing up to him. Money is the blood pooling on the floors of slaughterhouses, the guilty secret that consumers must never know. Money is metal, the acidic taste of hangovers your mother never mentioned, the tears of 17-year-olds volunteered for war now showered with brains as bullets hit the skulls of their commanding officers. Money is old, fat, rich wankers with their tops off, dying early due to heart disease and buried in an unmarked grave with no one left to mourn them when they're gone. Then again, perhaps I'd feel different if I had any. Subway lines. We are all buried by our doctors and our mothers and our fathers who are in heaven, sent back in dreams to poison our unripe minds ahead of the great upheaval, when modern life is no more rubbish and the stars come out to play in farmers' fields, flood-lit and full of pain and singing their open hearts out, celebrating the solstice when they're less of a man with fewer men around. They are the alias of Robert Zimmerman's alias, the super wealthy supporters who make us superstitious, like women afraid to be seen eating in public who are fine when off their face on Frosty Jacks or K-hold comatose in bed with their best friend's boyfriend. Your debauchery is unwelcome here unless you involve me in it. I have a penis and a brain and a foot-long veggie delight on Italian herbs and cheese with onions, lettuce, cucumber, gherkins, peppers, jalapenos, southwest sauce and pepper. Rock, paper, scissors. It's not just a game of luck, the scientists say. The evolution of biology has made us infinitely susceptible to the numbers that surround us and bind us, the body language shared by the indigenous of the world as storms rage and fireworks detonate, trailing fibrous petroleum disaster smoke in the rainforests of Peckham and Streatham and Wickham. We are the children of the railways who are sick to death of Arriva and who never learned to drive and who never really wanted to. If you can, then we can, and sometimes that's enough. This weekend, the debate will finally be settled. Paper, I choose you. Arriva 800-850. To paraphrase the greats, never has a company been hated so much by so many. They are the scum that floats on the water, that stagnates in the bucket that brewed our primordial stew. They are the reason why I write while I'm walking in great cursive lines, stumbling into signs and foliage, much to the amusement of the shopkeepers who won't sell me cigarettes, the pedestrians who won't lend me a mobile phone, the motorists who ignore my proffered thumb. Hell, even prisoners get to make a phone call, or do cardiac arrests not count? They are the reason for countless 260 carousels, £4 day passes and £4.50 day plus passes now the price has gone up. £12 taxis over and over, £12 taxis when I've already got a fucking ticket. So I walk the 8 miles home because the 5-mile route cuts across a motorway, and because my ticket ain't worth shit and I weep for the tree that it's printed on, because the bus didn't show up after 90 minutes and I thought, hey, I could walk it in this time, so I did. Ironically, the only bus I've seen so far was out of service, but I've seen sewage plants and cemeteries, stinging nettles and farm shops, discarded gloves and an old hoodie, and this is real countryside if you ignore the road I'm walking on. I last passed a sign 20 minutes ago saying 2 miles to Bourne End, another 2 miles to Wickham, and another 2 miles to my flat. My feet will hate me in the morning, but not as much as I'll hate them. Sitting down's the worst thing I could do, so I write and I walk and I vent my spleen because, oh look, Bourne End. A reaver is truly outrageously shit. Can I get a hallelujah? They take our money and they crush our spirits and leave us no choice but to keep going back or to walk 3 marathons each week just to get to work and back. Dastardly Schweinhunds, bellends of the highest order, shit stains on the anus of humanity, unholy douche water in life's lemonade, dog's ejaculate mixed with gone-off milk, the pus seeping from the blisters beneath my feet. I tell you what, I need to learn to drive a car.